Hello, 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 and welcome to the Crown Lane podcast, Crown Lane on the Record, episode number 18. Sat next to me is Mr. John Merriman.
All right, Lawrence.
How are you, John?
It's good to be back. Thanks for inviting me back
You
onto the
haven't been
podcast.
on in a long time.
I know, I've tried, but you wouldn't let me.
I know. Well, welcome back. I'm your
good
host,
to be
Lawrence
here.
Bradshaw, by the way. Forgot to say that, most important part at the beginning. We're here today to talk about Crown Lane Live, which is an endeavour that we do at the studio. Who better to answer what is Crown Lane Live than John yourself? So, John, what is Crown Lane Live?
Crown Lane Live is an initiative we came up with when we wanted to celebrate what goes on here on a day-to-day basis. The magic of the studio environment, the magic of times when you're recording and inspiration strikes, and try and capture that and conjure it up with cameras rolling. And season 2, boy, did we manage it.
And how, I mean, give us an explainer of the actual setup of how it works. Because it's quite unique, really.
Yeah, I've never seen it done. And because of that, some things go wrong and I can see why people don't do it. But we've built something that's really, really special and it works so well. So we have a live audience who watch in the coffee shop / wine bar by the evening, and they sit there and enjoy the whole event looking at a screen. And the screen is, with beautiful Genelec sound system, the exact reflection of what is going on in these rooms. So we have cameras in these rooms, camera operators in this room, vision mixers, producer, and the whole of a studio session live, one take. Each band only gets one take to perform, gets broadcast to the live audience out there. So it's us under pressure to get the sound right, the vision right, them under pressure to get their music right, the vocals right, the lyrics right, and the audience just love the drama of that.
Yeah, I've often tried to sort of describe it as a band or a solo artist recording an EP in one take. With a whole audience watching next door through a projector is really, really incredible. It creates such a wonderful environment. And what I really love, my favourite part really, is, as well as the music and everything that goes along with it, is at the end, we then walk the artists out kind of through the smoky door.
It's only 3 meters, isn't it?
Yeah, and then when they go through and then they can meet their audience and their fans, and then we all have a drink and celebrate. And this year, for season 2, we did it slightly differently, where in season 1, we spread it out over 6 months, and season 2, we spread out over 6 days. So we had how many artists in total?
I think it was 9. We had a lot of. We had some nights where multiple artists at the same time, and in fact, my favourite night was where 3 musicians who had never met all came together, and we'll be talking about that evening in just a bit.
But there was so much variety, lots of different genres. We even had spoken word that was happening throughout it as well. But yeah, it felt like a month within 6 days.
Yeah, I didn't sleep much during that week.
A lot that happened, but the end result was absolutely beautiful. And if you're watching the video, rather than listening, we've actually got some of it playing in the background as well. There'll be links at the bottom to all the incredible videos on YouTube of what the final product looked like if you couldn't make it. But what we're going to do is talk about some of the highlights from it. So very personal to each of us, but John, go for it. I know you made some notes here.
For the first time ever, I never bring notes to these podcasts.
No.
But I've decided to write down. So in watching them, there were some really magical moments, and I wanted to celebrate some of those today. And I'm going to kick off straight away with Kirsten Ellington. Do you remember that night?
I do, yeah, it was incredible.
That was a very special night. One of her songs was "Wish I Didn't Miss You," and there is this gorgeous bass solo from Digby. And it's not so much a solo; it's just, to me, he just is just the most magical bass player, and he just is so sensitive to what the vocals are doing. And in that performance, he really shines.
He was really on it, wasn't he? And I remember specifically, I'd never heard them play before, so then experiencing it for the first time in this control room behind the vision mixer, I just kept on cutting to Digby on bass, and I kept thinking, oh no, I can't go to what I want, But no, it was phenomenal. The whole band were phenomenal. Really, really brilliant.
Alicia Eve was singing with that lineup, and it was kind of her project really, and they did the song Water, and that was beautiful as well. All three, the vocals were so tight on that song in particular, and Jenny joins both Alicia and with Kirsten as well, and the three of them together, it just felt like one sound. So I'm pointing this way because the singers for that ensemble were in this room, and then we had the band and the rhythm section in this room here, room 1, and that worked really well. So you get the studio isolation, but also they just were vibing as one unit. Magical.
Let's kind of bullet point then through some of the different artists that we had. Who can we talk about next?
So Jilska.
Yeah, oh my word, that was incredible.
Jilska came here when she was very young, and then we put a little shout out, as we do every time, to these evenings, and we were back in touch with her, and she'd been rehearsing here for her. She'd been involved in quite a few things at BBC recently, and that was just, when she said she wanted to do it, I was really touched. I thought, oh, that's like, she's been on such a journey with her music, and she did all the big festivals this year, and just to have her back here in Morden was really special.
Yeah, and she, one of her sort of biggest hit from this round that she did at Crown Lane live season 2 was Bad Way, which is, and I've had it in my head, it's not left. It's one of the songs that where you and I we gave up on our responsibilities for a little bit and we're just dancing in the control room.
I remember that her song Unavoidable as well. We were in here and the dancing, I don't know if was it Capture, Chris? Did we get any? Oh, good. Yeah, we had a good time.
The dad dancing in the control room.
But it was so weird because we couldn't tell what the audience were like. And her one, when we went out as a band, the audience were electric that night. That was a really exciting night.
But yeah, that song Bad Way, absolutely phenomenal. And then she has then gone on to BBC Live Lounge with that. That was about a month after her performance of Crown Name with it. And the song has really skyrocketed. So fantastic news for Jilska.
One of the main moments that I liked, because I spent a lot of time thinking, I wonder if this will work. I wanted to put 3 musicians together that had never met and see what happened. And on this night, they each...
Who were they? Come on.
Well, Mac Douglas, the guitarist.
Yep.
So he'd just come off touring from some very major artists, as had the harpist, Tara Minton, who I've worked with for many years. And just... the way she plays and sings, her attention to detail looks so easy, and yet playing a harp in the way she does sort of jazz harp. If you watch her feet, it's like a swan underwater. There's sort of chaos of chord changes and note changes using all the pedals on the harp, but above this sort of grace, and everything feels so natural and easy to watch. And so she was on harp and vocals, and then on tabla we had Arif Dervesh, who was playing. And each musician also was asked to bring something themselves, if they wanted, but also be willing to join in with everyone else. And Mac Douglas, on the day, the guitarist, he said, I spent the morning writing, and he wrote a piece which I really enjoyed called Chicken Picking. I had to check it because I always called it Chicken Licking. Chicken Picking, which is a beautiful, a sort of bluesy, funky number.
Yeah,
and
it's
again,
amazing.
we were vibing in HIF to that. Yeah. But he made the tracks in the morning, didn't he? And brought the tracks and just shoved them to us and said, put these on.
Yeah. And you when you watch it, you get the feeling that these are 3 pros who've been playing together for 20 years, which is how well they gelled together, how well it all sounded. But yeah, it's just incredible that was the first time that they'd met each other.
I think the moment that was magical was when they were chatting just before they were about to start, and Aref told Tara that he'd played for Sting, and she went, "Oh, I love the song Fragile," and then they said, "Well, let's do it," and with no rehearsal, they did Fragile, and that was, for me, that was one of my most sort of emotional moments, seeing that happen, and Mac playing with it as well on guitar with just their interpretation of it, the 3 musicians. That was magical.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Next.
Shea Lily.
Shea Lily, Morden's own homegrown talent. And if you haven't seen Shea's music before her career, she's local to this area, and she's played numerous venues locally, and has recorded here and other places as well. So it was really amazing to have an evening with Shea as well. And very different sort of style again. Like we said, we had lots of different sort of genres across the week, and Shea you'd describe as sort of country singer-songwriter, solo act, and she got to premiere a brand new song as well for Crown Lane Live Season 2, which was Nirvana Tea.
That was a beautiful one. I just love how expressive her voice is. And again, similar to Tara, she's able to sing her tuning even on, the large interval jumps that normally in the studio we're going to have to do a little bit of work afterwards on. She just always nails it. And as a performer, it's lovely to see someone who is young, natural, but with such attention to detail as well.
I've got very distracted there because I've just seen Shea behind us singing for Crown Lane Live Season 2. Lovely. Who's next?
Abs.
So absolutely, again, another jump in sort of genre of what we were expecting, and that was sort of it was pop, and it was a little tiny bit of sort of funk, a little bit of R&B influence in there. Really, really fantastic.
It was gorgeous, and a gorgeous bass solo, and she also brought along a horn section who did some vocals as well. So the band sounded really full, considering there was only a few of them in there and a few in there. And we had piano and synths in there, and it worked really well, that, and the sort of vibey sort of It was a lot of fun with that band. It felt like they used it as a way to connect with their followers and their friends, where different people used the Crown Lane Live platform for different reasons. They were definitely performing to the people that loved them.
Yeah.
And it was really lovely to feel that as well.
Yeah, and it's not easy being in a studio room performing to an audience when you can't see them and you can't hear them. We always really like it at the very end. If the audience are loud enough, you can kind of just hear them through the walls. So we always make sure that we can hear them. But having in season 1 where a lot of the music was sort of melancholic and slow but very beautiful, and this one we had a few more sort of dancey, get up and move kind of bands playing, so that was quite nice. And it must be quite difficult for them to then think, oh, is everyone having a good time out there? And often in between, like, are you having a good time? Can we hear you? So, so it was lovely, and it sort of communicated really well through the walls.
Totally. It's funny, the 2 seasons have felt really different. The season 1 we had some very mellow moments that were really, really quite magical as well. And I'm thinking of like when Naya was singing, and he did a couple of covers, and one of these got tens of thousands of views. And so Crown Lane Live has also been a platform to raise people up to go to different places where they wouldn't have gone without it. And so we've really enjoyed celebrating what those videos have brought about. And also for us as a studio, it's really hard to explain to people what a studio context is like and what ours is like and why ours is different and why it's different when you come to Crown Lane. And these videos have been really good chance for people to see, oh, okay, so if that's what it's like with no interruption from start to finish, that's what it'd be like when I come as well. And so that's been really special.
Oh, and there's Abs behind us.
She's looking at me.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
And she's confused.
A little bit confused.
I'll call you later.
Yeah, nice. If you're just listening to us, that's very confusing what just happened. Who's next?
The last couple are Alicia. I think there were 2 favourite moments. There was one moment where Alicia went to the piano and just leant on the acoustic piano.
Yeah.
And I can't even remember what song that was. Can you remember, Chris? Okay, there's one original of the night. That croaky person in the background was Chris.
He's the sound engineer, making sure that we sound good.
That's right, that's his job. Yeah, that was a beautiful moment where we ditched sort of...
I don't think it was planned either. I think they just kind of went for it.
Yeah, because we had to move the mics. We used some of the BV mics and put them on the piano. In My Feelings.
Yeah.
That was a great moment. Just the unexpected nature of songs coming out from people who had never worked together, and then even people who had worked together hearing new songs coming. I thought that was really special. What was your favourite moment?
There were so many, and I've often said it to Chris in the edit, because obviously there's a lot of work that then comes afterwards for the video edit. And I was just so in the moment every single night. And as the nights went on, we got to sort of ourselves become a little bit more comfortable with the stresses of trying to put on an event like this. But I just was so in tune with what happened. And then it was great watching afterwards, like, I completely forgot all this stuff. I was so in the moment with, throughout the whole thing. But I think mainly the dad dancing with you. We had so many, all across the board. There was just, this music was so brilliant and really hit right where you want to feel it, that it just made our jobs easier for Chris, for yourself, John, and for me, that we could actually enjoy it rather than sort of being stressed behind the cameras.
I've often thought, like, if this was the BBC doing this or an organisation with far more budget, we would have a team of maybe 15 that would be doing camera operating, sound, vision mixing, broadcast, all the entertainment stuff with the crowd out there. But it is literally just the 3 of us, and running around and holding it together. And you're right, this season felt very much more like, I can enjoy this.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Season 1 was hard work.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
But it worked. And season 2 was enjoyable, and it works.
Who knows what season 3 will be like? We will really enjoy it.
You haven't asked me what my favourite moment was.
So moving on, no, John, what was your favourite moment? What is your favourite moment?
There was one moment. It was so much fun. And I don't have the phrase guilty pleasure in my repertoire. I'm not ashamed of the pleasures that I have. In Waterfalls.
Yes.
When Kirsten went into her rap.
It's the first Crown Lane Live rap.
And it was definitely 90s rap at its best.
Yeah.
That was just magical. It was just beautiful. The crowd loved it. Afterwards, everyone was talking about it. And in here, it was a vibe like you've never heard.
It was really, really amazing. Absolutely loved it. We're just about to take a very quick break. And then afterwards, we're going to be speaking to the wonderful Cruz. I'm going to be saying goodbye to you, John. Not yet. Don't go yet.
For those listening, I just lowered my chair.
Yes, it was very funny. Thoughts for Crown Lane Live Season 3. I know it's a long way away. It would be good for us for when we're planning it to listen back to this podcast. Do we want to try and do it as a nice big music festival week again?
Oh, definitely.
We're going to look back at it through rose-tinted and glasses and think, no, yeah, it was easy.
I think the setup took the longest part, and to only have to do that once for the week.
That's true.
That was magical.
Yeah,
I would definitely wouldn't do what we did the time before, season 1, and every month have to go through setting it up, building the set, and cracking it down again afterwards. No, he was good.
It was lovely. And I guess that if anybody's listening or watching to this podcast, this is very good English, watching this podcast and you're thinking, oh, that looks quite fun, I'd really like to be in Crown Lane Season 3. It's never too early to get in touch. Please do. It will be next year, April-ish, that we'll be doing it. But yeah, please do get in touch if you think this is for you. But otherwise, we're going to take a very quick break. Thank you very much, John. See you later. Whether you're looking for online sound technology courses, premium live studio recordings, podcasts, rehearsing, group and individual workshops, or support with a music project, Crown Lane Studio is the home for you. With fully equipped rooms and an on-site coffee shop and wine bar only 2 minutes from Morden Tube Station, you'll know you've found the home for your next project. Crown Lane. Sound better. Welcome back, everybody. And sitting next to me now is not John anymore. Hey, welcome. Welcome, Chris. How are you, my friend?
Good, really good. It's good to be here.
Good, nice. Well, Chris, there's a couple of things that really I wanted to speak to you about. One of which is, as this podcast goes out, we're still sort of halfway through the releases.
Yes.
Of all of season 2. So, can you remind me quickly when we are releasing them? When can people check them out, look out for them?
I believe they're going out on a Thursday afternoon at 5 o'clock and on a Saturday afternoon at 5 o'clock.
Correct.
Amazing.
Well done. You passed the interview. Very good. So we have 2 a week that are coming out. If you don't know, Chris is, well, you can explain your role here if you like, Chris.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Or would you like me to?
Please do.
Chris is our lead engineer and producer at Crown Lane Studios, responsible for how everything sounded and looked for Crown Lane Live Season 1 and 2. Not only putting the whole thing together, but also responsible for the edit afterwards.
Yeah.
The horrendous big edit that came afterwards. I'm talking about video-wise.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically, I wanted to rack your brains and think about the sort of technical rundown of how it looked for Crown Lane Live Season 2.
Yeah.
Were there any major differences from 1 and 2? What does it take to put this together? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, so you mentioned earlier that actually we went into this with a bit more of a condensed time frame, to put it softly. We ran into 3 days of solid recording, with 2 artists a night. We'd never done that before. So we'd had ourselves a trial beforehand, and because of the fact that we were piloting season 1, we took things a lot easier, so made sure that we had plenty of time. Most of the time we needed that time. We're fixing issues. It's a lot of the gear that we're using is stuff that we're trying to figure out how to work in a space like we have, which isn't a live outdoor venue. It's an enclosed venue, and we're going between rooms. And what we're trying to do is send studio level audio and visuals through to next door. And so what we've done over season 1 is basically perfect that, go through to a different vision mixer, try different audio techniques, and settled on this system that now lives in the studio. So it's here full time. And it's meant that we've basically been able to go from season 1, which was quite functional. We've tried to pick up all the things that we need to focus on, all the things that we need to get right, and then in season 2 really breathe and then bring each artist to life and have an idea of creatively how do we showcase each artist. And I think you mentioned earlier how you were you almost didn't remember half the stuff because you were and I think we had this conversation earlier as well, because it's one of the really fascinating and unique parts of what we're doing here is that actually, because we're recording multicam footage, all of the stems are recorded. So it's not like we just get one edit of what we're looking at that time. We get to see all the stuff that the camera's looking at all times. And then one of the most fun parts of this process for me is almost forgetting everything, coming back to it later, and then looking at it with fresh eyes, fresh ears, taking the pressure off for us and actually focusing on what was being seen by the cameras at the time, but also as in focused on by the cameras at the time, and actually looking at the other stems and all the things that were being captured that would otherwise be missed in a live performance, because often it's the loudest thing that you get to see, but in a unique space like this, what you're seeing is the nuances of how someone performs, of how they project, how they sing, how they play the bass that they're playing, what type of bass they're playing, and you get to see all of those things in real detail. That's all of the beauty that we've basically gotten to then bring out in season 2, which has been definitely one of my favorite parts of that.
It's only when you said it a moment ago about having multiple artists in one night, that where I said before, what I was saying to you, John, is having the rose tinted glasses of forgetting, actually swapping full bands over and very different bands as well, and the amount of tape that was on the floor.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, well, the good thing is we were pretty clever and disciplined with who we chose and which night, and everyone was intentionally chosen for what we wanted, and again, to show off different aspects of the studio, different genres, different demographics, and everyone highlighted what they were good at and what the genre was about. So and the different genres and the genres coming together, and we got to see all of that. So it was good to have that experience of even swapping on the night, which was chaotic, but we also chose to, I think one of the key things that we went into season 2 with was, I think there were a couple of the same conversations that we had, which was, we're just going to have the most amount of fun. Like if all of this can be super stressful, and if we allow it to be, it will be. But in reality, we're getting to do things that actually a lot of people would dream of doing, and we get to do it and have a great time doing it, maybe have a drink, maybe like be dad dancing in here. The only reason there was dad dancing in here is because I was next door filming. Just, I'd like to clarify. I wouldn't have let any of that stand. But yeah, we just got to bring all of that stuff out. So it was nice to swap between artists, but we were careful about how we did so, and often kept it either to specifically like a singer-songwriter with a less of a setup before we go into a larger band, or fairly similar bands. And yeah, it worked. It really worked. It could have been, again, stressful, but we had the best time. There was a lot of laughs in between as we were swapping over, and getting to, in that small space, debrief about how the set went and what were the things that didn't go so well. Oh, I screwed up that, but it's fine. Like that's the point of doing something like this, is that we get to enjoy it. And so yeah, we got to then bring out all of the nuance between the relationships between the people, the artists on the night, and also to get to know the people that were performing here in good time without having to rush.
It was lovely as well, having the multiple artists, that some of them could then watch the others.
They did,
which was really great, and they were supporting each other. And then, you know, these artists hadn't met before. You know, when we put two on the same night. So to then watch them interacting and complimenting each other, and it was really, really lovely.
Yeah, and I mean, most people, well, everyone. So this is the funniest thing to then describe to someone what it's like in the studio. I can only really describe from the studio, because I've never seen what it's like out there. I've gotten to see, obviously, footage after the fact, but when it's all going on, we're in here, we're filming, we're recording, but for the artists, they don't get to have that experience. So having two on the night was really fun. They got to maybe do their set first, or be sat outside and actually see what the experience is like, and then there was a lot of confidence that came from that, and really good. It was a good idea. I think we went in a little bit nervous about having multiple people, but it was turned out to be amazing.
Yeah, it was brilliant. That'll be the way forwards.
Yeah, rose tinted glasses.
So two very quick things. One is, wanted to ask you about, were there any highlights for you as chief videographer? Because actually this time round it was slightly different, where you were in and amongst the action.
I was.
with a roaming camera.
Yeah.
Normally, well, either squeezed into room 3 with cables and stands and musicians, or a tiny bit more room in room 1 with lots and lots of people around you, trying not to step on people's toes.
Yep.
How did you find that experience?
I don't know if the camera shows it, but I'm not the smallest sound engineer, and I find that it comes as quite the handicap when I'm doing what I'm doing most of the time.
Some of the time, there was a moment when you were in room 3.
Oh, don't bring it up.
And you were sort of laying down.
Yeah.
It looked like the front of GQ magazine, one leg up, and it was like
so that was actually going to be one of my highlights. The highlight was it was during Tara's performance, and it was actually a solo performance. So all eyes on Tara, all cameras on Tara, and I've got this idea. You know what? It would be really great to get this one angle, but I'm going to have to shimmy across. No one will notice. It's fine. Wore the biggest shoes on the night, obviously. That was a good idea.
Yeah.
And then sort of leant over, and I heard the creaking. And in horror, I sort of slowly carried on because I knew there was no way Gail coming back up again. So then leant over, and then I get the call in my ear. Sorry, Tara, I think we're going to have to restart that one again. And Tara go, oh, it's okay. I think I messed up. Knowing full well she did not mess up, just
Tara. It was
covering for me.
It
was absolutely not Tara. So it was good. It was good to then again have an experience like that where it almost doesn't matter because the end product is we still get the full version edited and get to see that. Another one of my highlights is the blooper reel. I think
when's that coming out? I don't know if I want to see that.
We could put it out. There's I think the joy of doing something like this, all pretty condensed and around the same time, is you sort of remember a lot of those moments. And whatever it is, like a cheeky look to the camera, and actually you can see a lot of them in our introduction. There's a season 2
that's right,
introduction video.
We'll put a link to that in the description.
We absolutely will. And that was so much joy. I think that was really a testament to how much we got to have fun ourselves, but also bring that out with everyone else, because it can feel like a really pressured environment. This is a studio, everything's soundproof, I've got headphones on, and then you've got 3 of us sat there having the best time ever, and just reassuring them that this is going to be the best thing that they've ever done. And it turns out it's often pretty high on the list.
It was normally sort of after the first song.
Yeah.
One of my favourite things, excuse me, is then interacting with the artist after the first song was finished and saying like, "Way, that was amazing," and then having a bit of a backwards and forwards. They can all hear you out there, don't you? Like saying a joke and having that bit of fun, and then from that moment on, it's like, okay,
yes,
let's do this. Let's have a good time.
Exactly. When you know everything works, because again, it's most of the time no one's ever done anything like this before. You're either in a studio or you're in a live performance.
Yeah.
So and as an artist, you're the first thing that you're worried about most of the time is hopefully you're well rehearsed, you know your parts. Is the tech working?
Yeah.
So you're sort of sat there like, I hope everything sounds right.
Yeah.
It sounds one way in my ears, but everyone else is hearing it differently through speakers. Hopefully it's all fine. And then after song 1, turns out everything's amazing. Okay, yeah, let's run with it. And best time ever.
My last thing then is I wanted to ask you musically. So actually, when you step away, because I know that you spent so long editing all the videos, getting them perfect. Forget the edit brain. Imagine these videos for the first time you're seeing them. Is there anything that really stands out to you? It's not a very nice question to ask because they're all brilliant and we're all wonderful. Yeah. But are there anything that you think, wow, that really is quite amazing?
Yeah, that is really an unfair question to ask. I think.
Disclaimer: he loves everything. He loves it all. So nobody take offence. I've loaded this question for
some
him.
of you can take offence.
No. This is up to you.
I think really we got to see lots and lots of different styles. Even more than on season 1, we got to see where there were a lot more singer-songwriters in season 1. This time we got to have bands in, and we were quite brave about that, and having sort of multi-instrumentalists in, and it was something unique which we hadn't had before. I think if I had to pick a favorite,
stop with the politicians answer.
I know I think Alicia Eve and Kirsten Ellington that night. I mean, Jenny was on backing vocals, but she shone the whole way through as well. The band was so tight. Keys was amazing. The entire thing, the bass was, everything was so intentional. And this was a group that were used to playing with each other and knew who the MD was and knew where they were sort of looking to the entire thing. So we got to see what would be a regularly touring band who often do like function stuff, which I think often gets lost because we often see the artists and highlight the artists who are sort of doing their own solo projects. But it was really cool to have what is a function band, which doesn't really sum up how good they are. A function band of the highest quality, basically showcase all of their talents, but also honor the original artist, because a lot of the stuff they did were covers and interpretations of the original song, and just brought that to life in such a unique and really fun way. Having our first ever rap on Crown Lane Live, hopefully not the last, and having different vocal moments shine and people sort of pull out at the right moments, and just having it was stunning. And I think that would probably take the cake for me. Generally, it was such a high quality. It's quite hard to pick anyway.
Well, no, you've made your thoughts known.
I know.
Sure,
Yeah, I did terrible.
Anyway, no, that's brilliant. Thank you very, very much for that, Chris. Before we go, it's been a year and a half of doing this podcast now. And you were right at the beginning, before the Crown Lane questionnaire was invented.
I was.
I've got to get you in for it.
Okay,
Are you ready for it?
I don't know.
Quickest fire that you can possibly fire quickly.
Fire, yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
You know the rules to this anyway. You ready?
Yes.
The best format to listen to music to?
I like streaming, and I think I mentioned that before, but I know it's controversial. It's controversial, but I think vinyl obviously is amazing as an experience to be able to go through that process. I think feels like a bit like making a good cup of coffee, but I think we downplay how much streaming has opened us to music that we would never otherwise listen to.
You're right.
And algorithms allow us to then hear things that we would never again listen to, but is similar, and some things that like add in differences. It's great. Really a unique way for us to listen, and also it's not really unique anymore because everyone's doing it. So I think streaming would take it.
True, yeah, definitely. Do you prefer to be performing in the studio or on stage?
Studio.
Oh, you're the first person to say that.
Again,
I was hoping that you would. Yeah.
I think I get to do both, which is really cool. As someone who's creative and likes to write things from start to finish, it's really the joy of being able to nail down different parts and actually refine it to what it then eventually becomes. I think it can be overlooked quite often, and the studio process, a lot of people are leaning more towards home recordings, which is nice. There's lots of good in that, but actually the joy, and as John mentioned earlier, the drama of like being in a space with other creative people who are then bouncing off each other, and you're outside of your normal space, and you're now in a place where you almost have a little bit of pressure to then give that much more. There's something special about that, and you then can, again, because you have take 1, take 2, take 3, you can refine things and do things that you on take 1 would have not even dreamed of doing, and then take 2 you kind of like, we did that, everyone's done that, maybe we try this thing. So yeah, I think we get a lot of joy out of that. So yeah, studio.
Nice quick fire answer.
Yeah.
Best gig you've been to?
Oh no. I got to see Def Havana at the O2, who's one of my childhood favorites, and I got to take my now wife to that for the first time, and that was, at the time, was one of the heaviest concerts she'd ever been to.
Yeah.
But it's soft rock, and it was great. Yeah, loved it.
Best gig you've never been to?
There was a gig at the Royal Albert Hall with a band called Bring Me the Horizon, and there's a metal band which they're famously known for and have gone in all different directions, but included an orchestra. Beautiful sound, arranged perfectly, choir, everything's stunning. Yeah.
Couldn't go though.
I didn't even know it happened.
Oh, right.
So I found out when one of my friends told me about it, who'd gone and then not said anything to me. But yeah, I think they didn't really shout about it. It was a charity event, which they ended up, because it was such a spectacular gig, they ended up taking all the stems from that, recording it. It's now available as a live album.
Oh, awesome.
For their stuff. Yeah.
Favorite instrument to listen to in the same room?
In the same room. Does a bass synth count?
Bass synth, yes.
With something
absolutely,
like this count?
Yeah.
I mean, it's hardly creating its own sound, but it is, and it's coming through other speakers. But yeah,
this looks new, Chris.
It's a fancy new toy,
fantastic.
and we've already had it on projects, which is really exciting. But it's incredibly powerful, incredibly versatile. I'm excited to use it more. It's I mean, bass synth doesn't really sum up what it is exactly. It's just a analog synthesizer and can do so much. So yeah,
lovely. Least favorite instrument to listen to in the same room?
I think the ukulele's overrated. I know, and you know what it is? It's only because
Pub orchestra.
I know. I'm sorry, pub orchestra, but I love being able to hear the whole frequency spectrum, and often when sounds are quite thin and left by themselves, it almost highlights the gap for me.
I have a theory on this, that I think 90% of the ukuleles in Britain are £20 rubbish ukuleles,
Sure.
and that's what you associate it with.
Most of the time,
I had an Ibanez concert ukulele.
Okay.
It was so beautiful.
Maybe that's
£22.
Maybe that's maybe that's it though. Maybe I've just
A
not
nice
heard the right.
expensive one. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But like something like I think someone said the bagpipes earlier in one of the previous questionnaires.
Yeah.
But I love the low drone going
quite like the
underneath it.
pipes.
So do
I
I.
like the Red Hot Chili Pipers. have you seen them?
You have to.
Yeah, amazing. Next question. What's the best album to give to somebody as a gift?
Only because someone gave it to me as a gift, and I'm not sure if it's universal, but for me it was. It wasn't even an album. It was a Linkin Park EP, and it took me down the rabbit hole of understanding new metal and then beyond.
What I like. Yeah,
and it was a Linkin Park album with EP with 3 songs on it, and I think I listened to those 3. I just moved to the country. I listened to those songs for 6 months on rotation. That was it. That was I think we got into the car, listened to Magic Radio, and then come back home, CD player. That was it. There's 3 Linkin Park songs on rotation. I didn't even like one of them at the time, so it was two of the 3 songs.
66% of that
66%.
album.
Yeah. Well, now I love the other song, but
good.
At the time, two songs on rotation, 6 months. Great.
Nice. And lastly, sum up what music.
I didn't even tell you what it was. I'm so sorry. It was a
go.
Linkin Park EP. I believe it was called High Voltage.
I know that it was.
Yes, yeah.
Because we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago in the office, and we listened to it.
It was so good. Yeah, it's like an offshoot of the Meteor album. Anyway, sorry. Back to your next question.
Last question.
Yes.
Sum up what music means to you in one sentence. And go.
What does music mean to me? I think music is a language we can all understand and all enjoy.
Fantastic. Chris, thank you very much for taking the Crown Lane question. Thanks for being on the podcast, talking about Crown Lane Live Season 2. The recommendations for this episode, I wonder what they could be. I would recommend checking out Crown Lane Live Season 2 on YouTube. Chris, the YouTube channel is...
if you search up Crown Lane Studio, you'll be able to find the playlists on there. There are a couple, so Season 1 is still on there as well. But Season 2 is the one that's being updated weekly, bi-weekly. Not fortnight. Yeah, bi-weekly. So twice a week, Thursdays and Saturdays, you'll be updated. If you subscribe and get notifications from that, you'll be updated on when you get when we get those videos out. And we're all done with editing them. So this is a really nice feeling to just roll them out to you and just enjoy it every time.
Brilliant.
Lovely.
Crown Lane on YouTube. Check them out. Season 2. I don't know which camera I was looking into. That one. Both. Why not both? One eye on each one. I can't do that. Thank you very much for listening, everybody. Next month we are speaking to Chris, not Cruz. Chris Hatt. Put your hats on, everybody. Who's a legendary figure within the world of the West End Theatre and an MD. So really looking forward to that. I've got the camera right in my face, John. I don't know which one to look at. All I'm going to say is I'm going to look into this one. Chris, you can look into that one.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for listening, everybody. Goodbye!